Zombies are an undead occult life state that appear in several Sims games, though they are one of the few occult life states with no pre-made playable Sims. Their first appearance was in the Sims 1 Living Large expansion. In this expansion, if a Sim dies, another Sim in the same household can play rock paper scissors with the Grim Reaper in order to save the Sim's life. This is possibly a reference to the Grim Reaper character played by William Sadler, who appears in the 90s film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Best 3 out of 5.
And later in the 6th season of Tales from the Crypt.
My rock beats your scissors.
If the Sim wins against the Grim Reaper, the dying Sim will be saved, but if the Sim loses, the Sim will usually die. However, occasionally, when a Sim loses to the Grim Reaper, he will instead bring the dying Sim back as a zombie. Zombie Sims in The Sims 1 lose all of their personality points and have a green tint to their skin and clothing, similar to ghosts, only a different colour. Unlike ghosts, however, zombie Sims function the same as living Sims, and you can control them. And unlike in later Sims games, children and pets can also become zombies. In the later Sims expansion Unleashed, the NPC Miss Lucille was introduced to Old Town, and if you pay her 200 simoleons, she'll bring zombies back to life. Although their personality will remain the same. You can use the concoctination station object that came with Living Large to create a yellow potion, which will reverse the Sim's personality, that way giving a zombie Sim 10 points in each trait. Or you could use the crystal ball which came with the Living Large expansion, which will give you certain tasks to complete, and if you manage to do that in 24 hours, you'll gain a personality point related to the task. You can also lose points by failing the task, so it would take a while, but you could adjust a zombie Sim's personality that way. Before the release of the Sims 2 base game, it seemed that Maxes were planning on releasing zombies, but then waited until university to release them. Back when I was working on my power outage scenario video, I looked through the objects package file, and while trying to find references to the power outage scenario, I stumbled on a lot of other really interesting things, and if you're at all interested in the development of the Sims 2 or cut content, I'd strongly recommend looking through there. There's a lot of files, and most of them are named unintuitively, so mining through it can take a while, but there's a lot of interesting stuff they cut, amusing notes, foreshadowing about everyone's favourite Sims 4 pack, Journey to Batu. That's not related at all, I just found that amusing. Okay, I'm editing this video now and I just want to add a warning real quick. This probably goes without saying, but don't actually change anything in the objects package file, just look through it and think of it as like a virtual museum. And make a backup first, just in case. So while doing that, I found a behaviour function which would be very easy to miss because again its name has no obvious connection to what it does. So it's called Do a Fashion Show, but when I clicked on it, it had two functions to make a zombie, and then it says make female on one and make male on another. So it's possible that the base game was supposed to have zombies, or there was some way to generate a zombie. The gender seems to be relevant to this interaction as well. If you look up the make zombie behaviour function, it mentions something about making a new character, and then skin, age and gender is mentioned there, but I don't know enough about modding or simpy to properly interpret all of this fully. The fashion show part is really weird too. Unlike in The Sims 1, there's no fashion career in The Sims 2 and no catwalks. I'm not sure what zombies have to do with that either. I decided to look in the University Objects package too, and there's a make zombie function there as well, but it's a little different to the base game one. The fashion show function doesn't seem to return there either. It's not really clear if the Sims 2 base game zombies would have been a life state in the same way as they were in Living Large. It's possible that this was intended for some unrelated event or object that would have just generated zombies as a side effect. I haven't seen any reference in the base game files that suggest you would have been able to resurrect Sims, though it's possible I missed something, there's a lot there. But considering how broken a lot of the ancestor NPCs were, I imagine that feature wasn't thought up until later. Zombies were reintroduced as a life state in the Sims 2 University expansion pack, as a possible consequence for using the Resurrectonometron while not paying the Grim Reaper enough money. Zombies in The Sims 2 University have a bluish-grey skin tone and bags under their eyes. They have a unique walk style that's different from living Sims. They also always come back with the same personality, as you can see here, and they lose skill points. They often think about brains, although it's not possible to eat brains in The Sims 2. By this point, the ability to create zombie children had been removed, and the zombie life state was only for teens through elders. The ghost children in The Sims 2 were very glitchy, so there might have been some issues there and they just didn't want to include them. If a teen sim is resurrected as a zombie, they can get the Undead Educational Scholarship and go to university, at which point they age into young adults. This is the only way to age up zombie sims, as they don't naturally age or die. While zombie sims can't get pregnant, if they were pregnant before they died, they will continue the pregnancy after resurrection. I actually made a video on zombie pregnancies, which you can watch if you're interested in seeing that. In the later Free Time expansion, the Gypsy Matchmaker will occasionally deliver Sims a dusty old lamp which can summon a genie and grant the player 3 wishes, but all of the wishes have a failure state. If a Sim wishes to resurrect another Sim, the Sim could come back as a zombie. Unlike in the previous game, there is no cure for zombieism in The Sims 2. Zombies return again in The Sims 3 Supernatural, along with several other occult types. But unlike the others, they can't be made in Create a Sim, and their life state isn't genetic. Babies, toddlers and children also can't become zombies. Zombies in The Sims 3 function very differently to those in previous games and fit more with their pop culture stereotype. The expansion added a lunar cycle where, on a full moon, random Sims in the world will transform into zombies and wander around attacking Sims and potentially turning them into zombies. Sims can also become zombies by drinking the zombification elixir, which lasts for 2 days, or the potent zombification elixir, which lasts forever. There's also a spell called Reanimation Ritual that can be cast by witch Sims on a tombstone to bring that Sim back as a zombie. And Sims can now eat brains for the first time in the series instead of just thinking about them, although it's just a quick meal they can pick up from the fridge. This food isn't limited just to zombies, and if normal Sims eat it, there is a chance they'll turn into a zombie. There's also a special brain freeze moodlet when you eat it. Zombies also function a bit like pests, and will destroy your plants if they can reach them, but they can be kept out using gates and locking them so only the household can enter. The pea shooter object that came with limited edition versions of the expansion can also cure zombieism. This is a reference to the tower defense game Plants vs Zombies, where pea shooters can be used to hold back the zombie hordes trying to attack your house. Zombies were kind of having a cultural moment in the late 2000s and early 2010s, with a wave of zombie films and TV shows like The Walking Dead and Zombieland, and Plants vs Zombies became pretty popular around this time. There was also a Plants vs Zombies themed minigame introduced to World of Warcraft called Peace Bloom vs Ghouls. The pea shooters can also be used to protect your house from burglars, and repo men.
Shimla, Nushta, Chumiga, Nosh, Kwa.
Oh!
Kribana you.
Unlike in The Sims 2, there are several ways to cure zombieism, including the spell Sunlight Charm and the cure and potent cure elixirs.
Oh!
So far zombies haven't returned in The Sims 4, though in Strangerville there is a somewhat similar concept where the residents are affected by a mysterious illness. I actually don't own the Strangerville game pack, although I'm a massive fan of the kind of desert alien sci-fi aesthetic. I also really like that in Strangetown in The Sims 2. I don't know what it is about it, there's just something kind of nostalgic about it that just calls to me. I do think it's unlikely that they'll create an entire game pack for them like they did with vampires and spellcasters, since they've always been a fairly peripheral occult life state that's never really been tied into the storyline in the same way as witches, aliens and vampires. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, zombies are one of the few occult life states that don't have any playable Sims built into the lore. So that about sums up this video on zombies in the Sims series. There is some information I've left out here in regards to console Sims games, so this is basically just a look at the PC Sims games. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.